Please, now I want to know. How do you know that? Do not tell me you don't want to know, because then I want to know.
Don't wanna be inside
Alrighty,
my head.
and we're back. Thank you all for sticking with us, guys. Hopefully, the sound will be clearer. Oh, Az, do you want more inventory space? Don't you know how much inventory space you already have? In your
I know
blanket
exactly
on
how
you.
much inventory space I already have.
Tilty has told you.
750, and 730 of those are full.
You're better than I am. I have like, I think maybe 5 spaces at most. Those new bags did me in. I'm telling you, because I'm a pack rat. I keep everything, and I keep on thinking, well, I'll give it out to someone, or I'll give it out on Beyond the Veil, and then I always forget to write the inventory. What the hell do I have? So, yeah. Yes, and you can see where's our dark otter. There she is. Promise kept.
Yes, promise kept. And actually, if Arlie's still in chat, you're my witness now. You're my witness now, and you know who needs to know that I wore this.
There's your proof. Proof is in
Okay.
the scarf.
Now I
Not
can
in the
breathe
pudding.
now. That's much nicer.
Yeah, it would be. So anyway, we were talking about Madonna songs while we were off air, funnily enough, and Geek wants to tell us how he knows about a certain Madonna song.
No. No one wants to be inside my head, especially this week.
I tried. All right. So the third thing. So first was the achievement vendor. Then it was the mini dungeon, and then we have the sprint upgrades. So we're gonna be getting 2 new sprint upgrades. That will be sprint 5 and sprint 6. And they're going to be purchasable from the advanced faction fixer in your faction hub. Now, the thing with the sprint upgrades, because mounts are introduced with it, as people have suspected, well, at least some of them, and some of us, that they're actually going to put those sprint upgrades into some sort of a pet inventory. So that's exactly what they're going to do. We're going to get... Sorry, phone. We're going to get a sprint inventory. So this will also include new animations, optional effects, and of course vehicles. Woohoo! Optional. I guess optional FX is pretty cool, because some people have had issues with new FX for the elites, right? They were just too much for them visually. So it's a nice way to actually turn them off should you need to. So points for that.
Yeah,
You know what that
can't
reminds
wait
me of,
for-
actually?
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
go.
can't. I'm muted. I can't wait for this, actually, because I love the fact that my shirt is now dry from all the sticky stuff that was squirted all over me. And thanks for laughing at me. But I'm glad. I really liked it. I pegged it, by the way. I have to say it now. I pegged it that we're gonna haul these weapons right out of our butts, pretty much. Or not weapons, the motorcycles. So we're gonna have a pet inventory, which will be our new run speed. You'll be able to use your existing run speeds. There's even effects. Like, I wonder if they're gonna put in like some DC fans out there might like the flash, so you have the streak coming out of you behind you. Then Antita is making weird faces, so I'm going to put her onto the screen. So here I am multitasking and all that really cool stuff. This is why I don't talk during the shows anymore, because I have to multitask. And then I'm going to put as up. So that way he can actually have to edit that out later. Well, you see, this is why I shouldn't be talking. Period.
It's fine.
Just give up.
On the topic of animations, I love the suggestions in the forums that we need a like running, screaming, panicking one to use when running out of the parking
Yes.
garage.
That would
Yeah,
be the
the- on-
coolest.
On
They
the
get the
subject
hell
of
out of
the
dodge button, you know what I mean? Or like,
Well, and
like you know
they
how
were
you're
saying-
driving in a car and someone, you have those little handles on the side, and you have like a really crazy driver. That's your holy shit handle. Now
Yep.
you have that. That'd be cool for an animation. You're running around this random handle in your hand. Ah!
Well, they were saying how great would it be for a newbie to come in and there's this group of people just flailing their arms in panic running away from the black house. It'd be great.
It's like, I'm not getting in there. No way, no how. What were you trying to say, Gig?
No, the optional effects extra thing, as Aldous was saying with the lightning and that sort of stuff, that is quite a possibility, because that actually reminds me of City of Heroes. If anyone ever played that, you could add on extra sort of twinkles and stuff like that onto your movement modes, and that was insanely popular when that first came out.
Can I just get in here as a career PvPer?
Yes, do, please.
There's been a lot of mixed comments about these sprint upgrades and mounts and vehicles coming into PvP, and yeah.
Let's elaborate, though. They're only coming to Fusang, and we are only getting certain types of them.
Yeah, it's still, I wonder what the reasoning is to even introduce it into Fusang.
Probably.
My
Fusang's huge.
Yeah,
I mean,
spend
it
a lot of
has-
time running around.
No. The outside of Fusang is huge. You go into the center, that's quite small. You go into the areas in which a lot of the fighting for the animal wells are. They're quite small areas. So there's a lot of questions being asking why even do that with PvP.
Okay, I gotta
Well, I
say,
can answer this one.
seriously, finally something is making its way into PvP, and you guys are like this. I'd be like, oh, I'm excited to see how they're going to implement
No,
it.
no. Let me just stop you. I appreciate the inclusion, but there's a whole load of things that should have happened before that for PvP, such as things like being able to achieve maybe 10.5, maybe fixing some of the bugs that happen in PvP for us, maybe fixing the custodians.
Well, hang on, no,
but
Barry.
we don't know.
No, at the end of the day, though, this is a cosmetic change. It's not going to enhance the PvP experience.
Well, bear in mind what you're talking about there is several different teams. We're not talking about one team that's dealing with those issues. There'll be several different teams that are dealing with each of those issues. This is just one thing that they're bringing into PvP just to make it that little bit more enjoyable.
For whom?
Well, and I guess my assumption for them including it in PvP was because otherwise they assumed they'd have people saying, well, hey, how come PvE gets this and we don't? Like, I assumed they included it so that people wouldn't
Yeah.
complain about,
But not only that,
I think I can answer this question, though. I can answer this question because the thing is, you're asking why is it being brought into Fusang? I can see where hairs to be put up, but like you said, in the actual center of Fusang, in different areas of Fusang itself, it's very, very small. Then you have the outer side of Fusang. Now, if you think about this for a sec, you have a lot more experience in Fusang than I do. Now, I have played quite a few matches in Fusang, getting bullion, so that way I can black bullion, or sorry, black marks.
Black marks, yeah.
So I can get different weapons and stuff like that. But that's other than that, I don't really go in there a lot. Now, during combat, keep in mind this is run speed 6, run speed 5, and run speed 6. So keep that in mind. So when you're actually in combat itself, you're not going to be able to ride your Harley or have your flash feet, so you're not going to be able to engage in any run speed if you're actually in the center zone and you're having full combat. Now, if you die, go to a portal, and then you go to respawn, you respawn, and then you run back. That's when you're able to actually use your run speed at all. So at that point, this cosmetic look of you riding a Harley or having Twinkle Fairy Dust behind or whatever cosmetics they bring in, because they're putting in the advanced cosmetics. That's the only ones that are coming in. So you can ride a Harley if you want, but up until you target somebody. Once you target somebody, or you fire your weapon, you're out of run speed. So
once you engage combat.
Exactly. So at that point, so think of it, you're on one of the outer bases, you respawn, you ride your Harley because you're using run speed, you get into the center. Once you get into the center and then you start engaging in combat, it disappears. So therefore the effect's not there. I think you're more of a PvPer than I am, but as a programmer and a developer, I have my hand and doubled in that stuff before. This, I think, is a global change. So even in PvP, when they do the updates, because it's optional to use the motorcycles and the fancy glitter or whatever else. What's going to happen is optional. It's not required. And if you should choose to want to have run speed 5 and run speed 6, it's something that's global all through the Secret World. So it's optional, and it's not going to hinder your PvP experience at all, I don't think.
Except
So-
for possible lag.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
What are the concerns, though? So lag is one of them. Are there concerns
So
when
you
it comes to
turn
the
down
fighting?
your particle effects. I mean, I had to do that for some of the Orochi Tower raids, missions. Sorry, I had to
I
turn
was
down
about
my
to
spell
say-
effects.
Well, don't you think we already do that? Don't you think we're trying every trick under the books to try and reduce the lag in PvP? All I'm saying is that there's been mixed responses to
Mhm.
this, and whilst I appreciate the inclusion, yep, that's great. I'm excited about having mounts in the game. I just don't feel that it's really viable in PvP at the moment until all of the other things are sorted to allow that to happen.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
understand that. There have been a lot of long-running complaints in PvP that haven't been addressed yet, and they've had nothing new. But from my newbie perspective, having a faster run speed in Fusang will, get me into the action quicker. And it does mean that, say, in the smaller center areas, when someone dies, they are going to get back faster, so you have less time to, go and capture something without them messing up your plans.
You raised a really good point there as a new person, but again, it's just another level of sprint that somebody new in PvP has to achieve. It's like the bar keeps on getting pushed further and further away from people who want to come into PvP.
Yeah, I believe they're testing on Tesla. They're looking into seeing if they can automatically give everyone the higher speeds when they
Yeah.
enter into PvP.
Yeah, equal footing buff. Yeah,
I
I'd
mean-
heard that too.
I think it's safe to say that Funcom are well aware of the issues with PvP. I mean, they've had numerous. There's been numerous times in the interviews and pretty much everything else they've done where the subject of PvP is always brought up. So I think they're well aware of what's going on with the PvP. But I mean, if they're making a change to something like sprint and things like that, I mean, it's such a minor change that I doubt very much it's going to have much of an effect. Obviously, not being that much of a PvPer, I can't say for sure, but I wouldn't have thought that it would have any less of effect on PvP than it does in, let's say, raids.
No, I like the idea of roving motorcycle gangs hunting down the Illuminati.
I mean, fair
Mad
enough,
Max.
there's less people in raids, but it's still a very similar situation.
I would again. The sprint does make a difference in PvP.
Well,
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I guess my understanding too has always been if you're not, literally in the team, then you can't know that putting in this fix means this other one isn't happening. Like it could be a situation where either you get this thing or you get nothing. It's not a choice between we fix this or we fix that right now.
I think there's consequences to everything that happens in the game, and unfortunately, the consequences could be that there's lag. I sometimes I think
By
again.
lag, do you mean frame rate drops?
Oh, absolutely. It already happens. And we can switch the particles off, we can do that. But there's just sometimes that it can be virtually unplayable for us. But I am happy that the mounts are coming in. I'm just questioning personally the rationale behind introducing them into PvP.
I do have a question after for you.
Yeah. Did you want to
They
continue?
probably, they probably weighed up which is going to get more complaints, having them in PvP or not having them in PvP.
I think it's down to
And-
money. I'm sorry, but I think it's down to financing. And I can see from a marketing point of view what a fantastic thing this is. Absolutely brilliant. They're going to be able to get revenue in, and any investment in the game is wonderful. But it could be at the cost of the
A group
certain...
of players, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just trying to put across an argument for and against, I suppose.
Yeah.
No,
Look, one thing I would say to PvPers is that the development team have a pretty good head on their shoulders, and I don't think they would intentionally put something in PvP that would be game breaking in any way, shape, or form. Look at the ultimate ability. And the thing is, as well, everything that they actually end up putting into PvP, if the PvP community reacts badly to it and the majority of them want it out, I have no doubt that Funcom would actually act on those wishes and say, okay, you want it out, it's out.
I do agree with that, and Tida, I completely agree with that, because an example of that was when the first anniversary event they decided to
Yeah.
put the Golden Custodian into Fusang.
Yep, plus the Lord of Misrule.
Well,
They
the-
decided on the feedback of PvPers not to put it in, and then a huge amount of PvPers were saying, "Oh, come on, it's only for a couple of
Absolutely.
weeks. Let's have it in." And Joel Bylos came on the forum and said, "Okay, guys, if you want it, post in this thread. If enough of you want it, we're gonna put it in." And PvP players came out, and there were pages of responses saying, yes, I would definitely want it in. There were some who were expressing their wishes that it may not be included. It should not be included. So fair enough. That's why I'm thinking, if it turns out that there's some sort of a backlash from the PvP, not even backlash, let's not call it that, because that's, I think, too harsh. But if the PvP community as a general rule does not really appreciate the mounts in PvP, I'm pretty sure that the dev team would act on that.
I would agree with that completely. But I just wanted to put across, whilst I'm listening to you all getting very excited about,
Yeah, fair enough.
about mounts and PvE, I'm just sitting with my head in my hands going, oh my God, okay. And yeah, I mean, I can see myself as a healer running about and whatever mounts they have, like first aid on wheels. But I just keep on thinking from a game experience, whilst they've introduced that, what will the consequences be?
Yeah.
Well, and I
So-
think Xander had a really good point near the beginning when he was saying that if you're in combat, you can't be in sprint anyway. I hadn't really thought about that, but that cuts down the amount of time that you can even use sprint, especially in PvP.
I wonder if that would mean that if someone can, a PvPer then attack you, or anyone, well, okay, I'm not really sure if the mob will be able to attack you, because Well, they can. They can go after you even when you're in sprint, and they can attack you and take you out of sprint. So I wonder if that's going to be the rule that's going to follow the other
No.
upgrades.
In
Because it's
PvE, in PvE, if you're good enough, you can move in and out of their encounter zone without him even touching you.
true, but sometimes them hitting you can take you directly out of sprint.
Yeah, in
So I'm wondering if in PvP it's going to be the same thing. Like, you see someone going on a Harley or something, and then, you hit them and it automatically takes them out of sprint. So it's not
Yeah,
like you're going to have a quick getaway,
well,
once
we
you're
have
in
to
combat, you're in combat until you're either a victor or you're dead.
we have to follow the rule. We have to follow the rules that are previously already established with sprint. So anyone can target you while you're in sprint. That doesn't affect your sprint. Once a hit is landed, if you get into an AOE, if you step in filth, this is in PvE, and in PvP if during different events, and if someone hits you, someone lands a hit, you will, whether it's one of those, impairs, whatnot, it knocks you out of sprint. So that's the rule of thumb. So we know this. Any landed hit will take you out of sprint. B, if you target somebody, you're engaged combat, you're out of sprint. Now, I was just reading what, while you guys were talking, I was actually reading. Yay, literacy. I get 10 points for that. So the 3 different sprints are on foot. Okay, so on foot, you'll be able to collect new animations and effects. These will work anywhere. So on foot will work in PvP and PvE. So if someone gives you a flash effect, again, you'll be able to flash around. It's optional. You don't have to use it. And if you have your particles turned off, you will not even see it. So yeah, that's something that's, well, even as a PvP community, you can always just say, okay, don't use them in Fusang. But if the odd duck does come in, it probably wouldn't lag that much. That in the, even if they have pets, I think you can actually use pets in Fusang, but pets would do the same thing. So on foot, you have animations. On foot, you have animations and effects, which are turned off as soon as you turn off your particles. The next one is classic, which contains vehicles like motorbikes from the screenshots. They can be used anywhere except for inside buildings and dungeons. So this, again, here's the next rule. So we already have the previous rule. If you engage combat, you're knocked out of sprint. If you are attacked and hit by an enemy, you're out of sprint. So now, if you use any of these vehicles, once you enter a building, once you enter your, your base in Fusang, or even a center, it'll probably knock that off of you. So that one is kind of iffy. But the last one is extraordinary, which contains special vehicles that will make it difficult for anyone to keep a low profile. Now, he said something about Back to the Future 2, which I'm thinking he's referring to the hoverboard. This can be used anywhere, in any adventure playfield, Fusang, and
No, only be used in adventuring playfields, Fusang and Agartha.
Okay. Take off 5 literacy points for me. So
I'm
right
not really
there,
sure what's.
that's a model. That's not a particle. They said vehicles. So vehicles itself is a model change, not a particle. So that would lag. That wouldn't be any difference than you changing your shirt. That would be on your character. That wouldn't be something that your graphics card would have to render. Well, it would have to render the surfboard, so to speak. But if there's like a little jet stream wash coming underneath the surfboard or the hoverboard, if your particles are turned off, you will not see them. So lag-wise, that wouldn't affect, because that's no different than you changing your hammer to an assault rifle, because that's a modeled effect, and that would not increase your lag.
So Xander, again, really good points. But again, where combat is such a huge thing in PvP, again, and it's going to be knocked out. I mean, I've played other games where there's mounts, and everything you're saying, absolutely right. Combat's such a big thing in PvP. Doesn't sound like you're going to be using it a lot.
Honestly, I don't see it being an issue given the fact that in the few PvP situations I've been in, every single time you try and get into sprint, you get hit and you go out of sprint straight away. I honestly don't see it being an issue because, like Xander said, as soon as you get hit, you get taken out of sprint.
Again,
The motorbike will go away, the particle effects will go away, pretty much instantly. I really don't see why people are so upset about it.
I'm not saying anybody's up. I'm just trying to give another viewpoint to
Yeah.
it.
No one is upset. It's just that some people are not sure how it will be implemented and how it will actually work. Will it work well? There's some concerns. But there's some concerns even when it comes to PvE, when it comes to, well, what, you're just gonna like spring it out of your butt or your pocket and all of a sudden you're gonna get on a Harley. It kind of breaks the immersion for a lot of the people. So it remains to be seen how it will be implemented. But the streaming ones are doing their second stream tomorrow, Friday, at I believe 2 p.m. EST. So Romain Amiel, Tilty, and Joshua Deitch, aka Scrivenomancer, they're going to be doing their stream again, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be bombarded with questions from the audience, from people in chat channel at that time, about these new issues. So if you are interested in finding out more, do join them tomorrow. That's at 2 p.m. EST, I believe. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I do believe the time is right. I think
It
so,
was
yeah.
that time last time, yeah.
I
Yeah.
just know it's 6 p.m. GMT. If that helps.
Yeah.
On a side note, concerning lag, lag is client side, not server side. Unless it's like the big events where they put out the big humongous golems, which if people are fighting a golem in Argartha and you're in Polaris Dungeon, for some reason it lags out. But they said that's not the case, but it usually is.
Yeah.
Lag is generated client side. So if you already have your particles down, you should have pretty much your normal lag, so to speak.
What I would love
That's
to
just to keep in mind.
What I would love to see is in PvP zones, whenever you enter a PvP zone, that your particles are automatically just switched off. I would love every effect just completely switched off, because I run with my particles off, but I'm not entirely convinced that everybody in the game knows how to do that. So
that is true, and that's something
Yeah.
that we could probably bring up in the next PvP boot camp.
But the thing is,
Absolutely.
you guys are well versed in mods and add-ons and stuff like that. Isn't there someone who can actually create a mod for it to be automatically? You know how in during big events, Guardians of Gaia, the Golden Weekend, you have the script chat that you can just click on, and it will automatically remove certain effects or add them back.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think there are PvPers, like, I'll give a name check to Belladonna, who actually comes
Yeah,
up with
that's
some
who I was thinking about.
who
Belladonna
creates
is awesome.
Belladonna, yeah, he rocks. The only problem with that, unfortunately, is sometimes in PvP when you turn some of the effects off, you can't actually see if you're carrying relics or other people who are
Okay, that
carrying
could be
relics.
bad.
Hey
But that's
guys.
only in El Dorado, okay?
Yeah.
Doesn't you don't have that problem in Fusang? I
No.
nearly said Springfield for some reason. I don't know why. Fusang or Stonehenge.
I don't know. I can see the similarities between Fusang and Springfield. Yes,
I don't know
definitely.
why.
But yeah, I mean, no, good. I mean, good point. But yeah, that is a good point. But we'll see what happens next
Well,
week.
yeah, I
Could you
suppose we
imagine
will
anyone
find
that
out next
plays?
week.
Could you imagine anyone that plays like Counter Strike or something? You know, like you're running around. Hey, man, you're on my team, right? Yeah, dude. What's up? Do I get the bomb? I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna say, "Do I got the balls?"
I actually want a little mount like an ambulance.
A little?
Well,
That
yeah,
ain't
a
a
little.
little.
You know, with a flash.
You can have a scooter with like a big red cross on it.
And I've been trying to petition Tilty for like the in the oh god in the plastic surgeons, I forget his name. Oh goodness. The
Dr.
nurse
Anton Aldini.
Aldini,
the
yeah.
nurse, yeah, Aldini, the nurses with the little white PVC outfits and the nurse's hat.
Uh-huh.
I think that would be super fun to heal in that.
Wouldn't it be
What about a
funny in
Silent Hill
PvP?
nurse outfit?
Yeah,
Oh,
wouldn't
there
it be
you
funny in
go.
PvP that every time you killed someone, this like paddy wagon just rolls right up,
Yeah.
grabs, scoops them up, and then brings them back?
See, I think that would be that would be fun. But yeah, the little like nurse's outfit I think would be really cool for healers.
Yeah, that would be, even not just for healing. I think a lot of our peers would make use of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Vivachi says magic
Hello,
carpet.
nurse.
Exactly.
Hello, nurse.
Well, name check to
Yeah.
RJ, that's what he calls me.
Yeah, but Da Vinci also says hoverboard, and yes, that's something that we want. Xander, it was actually, as soon as I think issue 10 hit, he was like, I want the hoverboard. I want the hoverboard.
I called it. Oh, but keep in mind, that on a developer standpoint, for coding and lag wise, I do believe that the reason why we're restricted to so many uniforms is because when your character goes in to Fusang, it has to render obviously what you're wearing, stuff like that. So if there's a limited database for all this, because there's so many people and so many things going on in Fusang and in PvP, opening it up that we could actually wear all kinds of our clothing would just totally crash the system probably.
Funny you
Some
should
people
mention
can
that,
do
Xander.
that.
Yeah, funny you should mention that, Xander, because there's actually a huge thread in the PvP forum about that, and actually about the PvP uniforms and the why we have PvP uniforms. But it would appear that sometimes, or one of the theories that has been introduced, is that the PvP uniforms actually go on top of your normal PvE uniforms. So therefore, it actually adds to the lag rather than reduce the lag. But that's a very interesting thread in the PvP forums at the moment.
Also,
Mhm.
remember there is a bug. That you can. I guess people can glitch out their clothing, and then you can run around naked. So, right.
I think that's been fixed though.
That's been fixed. Okay, never mind. But
Fixed for a while
I do
now,
believe.
Yeah.
I do believe that it could be because if you look at our uniforms right now, if you actually use the uniform one piece inside like your tailor in your dressing room, it goes over top and whatever you're wearing underneath. If the only way you'll know for sure is if you go into Fusang PvP or any of the PvP zones, inspect somebody. If you have the ability to inspect somebody, if it tells you what they're wearing, anything other than their uniform, then that's how you'll know if it's generating their clothes plus the uniform skin. That's the only way you'll be able to tell. Yes, I learned you guys something. Yeah, 'cause I'm smart.
Yeah, there's a thread in the PvP forums about that at the moment, and about whether or not that's actually contributing to lag. Because again, as a healer in PvP, anybody who's not wearing their uniform, because I've got everything turned off, including names. I only heal through visual and my raid. I'm a raid group, which usually has bugged health bars. So if you're not wearing a
Still?
uniform, yep, still bugged health
Wow.
bars. Yeah, try healing with half your raid
Yeah.
and bugged health bars.
I did that during the Flappy raid, and I kept yelling in TeamSpeak, like, "What the hell is going on? Why is everybody on half health?"
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the first. Sorry, I was just going to say the first thing I do in raid chat whenever I go into PvP is tell people to take off a talisman and re-equip it because that clears the bug.
Yeah.
No, back on the mounts. Actually, I was going to mention I was actually really surprised seeing kind of the pushback in the forums from PVE on the mounts, because I always had this vague idea that like everybody wanted mounts. You know, I didn't really care either way. But as soon as it got announced, I was really surprised at how many people were like, "Wait, what? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
We had been told several times that mounts would never be coming to TSW. I believe both Joel and Ragnar had both said outright, never gonna happen.
Because it was
No,
supposed
no,
to
no,
be
no.
the
They didn't say
exploit.
that would never happen. They said that if they were to do it, they would do it their own way. And I think I covered this on the last episode.
True.
They,
True. Very
they
true,
said
Gig.
that they would do it their own way.
Yeah.
Alright,
Very
sorry,
true.
I
Also-
didn't
It
hear all
also
of it.
generates revenue, guys.
Yeah,
You
of
can
course.
go
That's
your
good.
own way.
I mean, that's really good. Any money that comes into the game is going to be invested into the game. That's really good. But it's a it's the consequences of the amount. I'm looking forward to riding about in a Harley. Photo opportunities.
Well,
yeah.
talking of-
Orca is wondering first mounts, then player housing.
I already
Exactly.
named my mount. Just so you know, it doesn't matter what I get. I've already named my mount.
I want a Ducati.
Guess what my mount's gonna be called?
Antida.
Oh
that was
god.
gonna be my
No.
guess.
That was obvious.
Someone had to say it.
Oh, I just got that. Oh my god, I just got that. No,
But
this is for, you have to name the movie that this comes from, okay? So I'm gonna name my mount Molly. Now put it together.
is that from Pulp Fiction? No. Pulp
No.
Fiction?
No. Molly mounts. Oh, come on. No one
No,
gets this
drawing a blank.
reference? Armageddon?
I'm just gonna assume I'm too young.
Armageddon. Oh my god. My
Armageddon,
shark,
really?
my loan shark is so gonna kill me. I just spent $1 million on a stripper named Molly Mounts.
Oh, Antida, you have my sympathy.
Yeah, it should have been another.
It must be
I'm sorry.
difficult.
I'm just floored that you just referenced Armageddon. Of all things.
Of all the movies, of all the gin joints, he had to walk into that one.
Well, I did have a motorbike in real life, so this is really good fun for me in game.
Cool. Yeah, so we mentioned that. Oh, go ahead.
Well, so I was gonna then segue on to the next bit here, and that
I just, yeah,
it's
I
not
just
$1 million.
It's buy some bucks.
I have a complaint. I want to lodge a complaint right now. Every time I
No
go to switch the
complaints.
camera to S, he stops smiling. It's like he has camera filter.
Leave it on as
So
for, like,
just
all
to,
the time.
yeah, just to go back to the 3 types of sprint customizations that Xander had mentioned. There's going to be on foot, classic, and extraordinary. So that's going to be, the 3 types of them. On foot, we already have, and we'll be able to collect new animations and new effects. And they work everywhere, like Xander said. The classic one will contain vehicles, like the motorbikes that were announced. They can be used anywhere but inside buildings and dungeons, obviously. It's real world MMO. And we have the extraordinary ones that will contain special vehicles that will make it difficult to... I'm thinking tank. Someone had actually asked, what about a helicopter? If it doesn't have, I can't remember. I think it was one of my Cabal mates. Yeah, Aether. He was like, well, unless it's a helicopter, I don't care.
I would really like. I would pay 20. Okay, whatever $20 of Funcom points is, I would pay that person to see them pull a Black Hawk helicopter out of their ass. I would, because that's where when you spawn all your different spawns and like your little pets, they pretty much come out of your ass, right? So I'd love to
No, out
see
of thin air.
a 40-foot helicopter just come out of someone's ass.
You don't want to know where those blades were.
Ha, I got him smiling. I got him smiling on camera for like 3 seconds.
You got to do it again now. Now, as part of this introduction of the new sprint, there will be a sprint, some sort of sprint introduction package. I'm not sure what they're going to call it, but it will be available exclusively from the item store at a cost of $20, which is probably going to be 20 euros or roundabout that amount. It's usually this almost the same anyway. The package will include mission from Moose. If you remember, Moose is an NPC in one of the first NPCs that you actually meet when you get into the game, when you start the game. He can be found at the police station in Kingsmouth. And so anyone, it's Kingsmouth is like the first playfield of the secret world. So this package that's going to cost $20 will include mission from Moose to unlock the bike itself as a mission reward, unique nitro boost, and sprint 6. I like the nitro boost. I think those are cool.
I hope
See?
they have a really special one, for those, like really weird people that, like a can of beans. Oh, could you imagine like the whole Popeye thing, the can of spinach, and then you just pop right up and then you start running and then like this little cloud of smoke comes out behind you? Because we already have the slightly used underwear complete with pee stains and skid marks. You might as well let people have fart bombs behind them.
Dude, I hope they have a special effects sound for it. So when you activate it, it goes.
I am so making that into a GIF.
I love that we're getting a mission with it.
I had to.
I just think it's cool that we're getting a mission with the mount. That's kind of awesome.
That's gonna be pretty freaking amazing. Because I remember when I first ran the snowmobile mission, part of the issue 7 in Carpathian Fangs. I was so excited. I didn't care. I was like, whoa, I'm doing this. I didn't even care. I didn't even notice the timer until I actually failed the mission. It was like, oh, what just happened? And people were like, yeah, you didn't do it in good time. I was just having way too much fun just riding around. Yeah. All right.
So yeah, on this point of it, it is $20, and that is twice as expensive as a issue. And we're getting one mission, and we're getting a motorbike, and then things we can already get in game using packs. So what do we think
Sprint
about
6
this?
right off the bat?
Yeah, but you're still going to need to have Sprint 5 before you can activate Sprint 6. You can already buy the Quickened Animus from the cash store, but you need the previous ones first. So it's not... I doubt they're going to let you just jump to it straight away without having to go through them. But what do we think about... This is the first time that they've charged this much for something other than the heavy metal outfits, and they're a joke.
Well, I think... Oh, go ahead.
I'm one of the ones that figures they've also never done mounts before, and since that amount is about what other MMOs tend to charge for mounts, it's kind of fine with me.
I think I think what it is, it's a pay gate. Instead of having like the gatekeeper, you have to beat the gatekeeper to be able to, ride your boss hog. I kind of think it's more like the what was it, that gold thing that we got that they have on sale for, what was it, $9 million or $9,000, but
the golden outfit.
The golden outfit. It's the golden outfit is render heavy, so if you ever notice that if you're in an area with a lot of golden outfits, places do tend to lag a little bit. So I think what it is, it's testing the waters for all this because they're going to be bringing in new stuff. So putting it behind a pay gate, I think is one. Okay, you're gonna have automatically the people that's on the other side of the fence saying, "Well, this should have been free. This should have been an issue that we should have had this right off the bat." You're gonna have that, but you're also gonna have what I think is a good idea. They need the revenue. They need to be able to keep the game going. They need the revenue. Obviously, they're also giving us cool swagger for this, right? Having it behind a pay gate limits the amount of people who are willing. So if you play the game for free, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it unless you actually pay the $20, right? Now, if you're a
But why
grandmaster,
pay double?
because it limits the amount of people that have it. So, like Very was talking about a little while ago, if only half the people in PvP have it, it's better than everybody in PvP having it, right? And having it double.
Couldn't they also have this pay gate with the regular $10?
You
I
know
think
what
they
though?
could.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I was just thinking, what about taking it the other way around and going, wow, don't we get issues pretty cheap?
There
We
you
get
go, right?
we get issues at a cost of what we get as a subscriber for a monthly fee. And that probably goes back to when issues were going to be every single month. They have, with the issues being at that price, that has sort of conditioned us that an issue or an outfit, they have this standard set of pricing. The side stories were a little bit cheaper. Some of the items, clothing, pets, single stuff is a little bit cheaper as well. So they've already got this. This is your standard unit of price. And this is the first time that they're giving us something that is more. And I don't know, I am in general a rather negative person. You may have picked that up, and this feels slightly off to me. Although that could be because I don't have much MMO experience and I don't know what mounts charge in other games. I don't have that comparison to make.
The thing is with mounts are vanity. And, okay, here's a perfect example. Okay, think of Eve Online. Now, when I say vanity in Eve Online, probably if you know it, and 80% of the people know Eve, they know that there's a monocle that's in there for like $100. It costs you $99 or something like that, 100, or it used to when it first came out. People went nuts. Oh my God, why can you charge us $99 for this? And then I think the company is OCC or OPP. I can't remember the acronym for them, but they looked at the community and they said, well,
CCP.
it's CCP. Thank you. They said, well, it's like this. Do you have the $99? No, then that's fine. You're not hurting yourself. Do you need the monocle? It's vanity. Does it affect you does it make you play the game anything different, any way different to have a monocle on you? No. Then you don't need to buy it. If you don't like the price, don't buy it. It's not affecting your game any. Now, when it comes to the mounts, the package that they have on there, you don't need the package because when the system comes in place, most of the system is coming for free because you're going to get I'm assuming you're getting the little window that pops up like like your pet's window. Now you're also going to be able to go to your vendor at your home base and buy the upgrade 5 and upgrade 6. So by default, you don't have to pay anything except for in-game currency to get your upgrade. Now, if you want to get fancy, like the weapon skins, it's a vanity thing. So that's your choice if you want to pay for it. Whereas that's a vanity. Now, if you talk about issues, if you want to progress your story, if you need to progress your story and to get, certain items that affects your play, it's cheaper because of the issues or what we're used to, and it directly impacts your gameplay outside of the game. So you have to pay your what was that?
Oh,
Oh, I thought
Finish
okay.
up. Yeah.
So what it does, it affects you're paying your stipend. Let's say you're paying your stipend for us grandmasters, for free to play, or for buy to play players. You have to pay for the issue. Inside the issue, you get all the content missions that you need to progress your character. Also, at the end of the progression of your character, the different elements like the Aegis or the Aegis, however you want to say it, the special wings ability. All these are game changing abilities that affect your game globally. Whereas Run Speed 6, yes, it affects your game. You can buy it from your faction headquarters. Does you running around with a Harley affect your game? No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
So
I
Plus-
therefore,
understand
it's a paid.
that.
It's a
Yeah, I understand
vanity.
that, but the argument that a vanity item doesn't really matter and you're not missing out if you don't get it is a little not misguided, a little naive perhaps, in that it is an RPG, and a lot of RPG players are compulsive hoarders, to put it lightly. They want absolutely everything, and it would be incredibly naive to believe that the developers do not know that when they are creating these items. That they know that people are still going to want to buy them, they're still going to pay the money for it, regardless of whether it's actually going to make a difference to them or not.
Well, it's
Well-
But
not
you know
really
what?
their job to make us budget our money, though.
No, I was
like,
gonna say,
I
that's
mean,
our
it's-
choice.
as someone who has a hell of a lot of MMORPG experience, I can say that they're not going to be the first company to do this. Pretty much every company that deals with vanity items will always charge them at a ridiculous level. For instance, SWTOR recently in one of their updates, they have a vanity mount in the game that is 1,800 cartel coins, which is the equivalent of about $15. Again, it's a vanity thing. It's the first mount in the game that has a flourish when you first summon it. And again, there's no one forcing you to buy this, but of course they know that you're going to want to buy it. It's the Pokemon effect. You know, you've got to catch them all. You've got to have everything. Where we're conditioned as gamers to hoard this stuff, to want loot. You know, this is the lifeblood of an MMO.
Yeah,
Hell, blame
exactly.
World of Warcraft for that. You know, it's just the
But
way
also,
it is.
also, I think we've been quite spoiled when it comes to new content story-wise that's been put into the game so far, at a cost of just $10. You know, it's peanuts, and a lot of people are subscribers, GMs. They basically get that money back the same month from the company itself. You know, so I think the
You
argument
gotta
should
keep
be
in mind,
more.
it's not peanuts for everyone.
Yeah, I was just going to just add,
Yeah.
just quickly, just add to that. There may be, again, yeah, I agree. Really good marketing for all the reasons, tick boxes, gamers, hoarders, etc. But need to be careful that they maybe don't like price people right out of the game. You know, people
Yeah,
might
but
feel.
Yeah.
There's other games who are pricing things quite higher up than Funcom
Yes,
does.
but that is
Yeah.
also just because something is industry standard doesn't mean that we can't still question and criticize
Oh,
it. Just because
absolutely.
it's
I
always been
absolutely
done.
agree with that.
And a
Yeah.
couple of people
At
on
the
the
end of the-
forums were wondering why. Go on, Xander.
Well, no. I was just going to say, at the end of the day, we control to a certain point what they put out, right? So if no one buys it, and it gets pretty clear that no one buys it, they're going to have to sit there and readjust their thinking. Are they buying it because they don't want it? Yet people said they want it, or are they buying it? Are not buying it because it's too expensive? Now, we could see very well that maybe this might drop in price later on down the road, but also, like I said, we vote with our wallets, so to speak. So if we don't pay for it, then we have to tell them why. We can add our voices to that. And you're completely right when you're saying just a second ago that not everyone, it's not peanuts to everyone, and there is an accountability. and the accountability is us. We choose to pay for it, and if they want more people to buy it, then maybe the price will eventually have to come down. But also keep in mind, remember, it's kind of like the same thing. Remember when they brought out these boxes? There's no mission tied to the box. These
Mystery
the mystery
boxes.
box. Thank you. I almost
Yeah,
said lock
David,
box.
you just said like the side stories versus mystery boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Now
party
the
bags
boxes in the party bags too. The boxes are selling really well. Why? Because you get to give them out, you get cool stuff in it, and you get cool dances. Now you were saying a little
You get
while
a
ago.
dance for $10, plus you get
Yeah.
some kind of one gift, and you give some kind of cosmetic to 20 people around you. You know, it's also $10. I do see the questioning why 20. All I meant to say is that for paying for the story content, which mostly people play the game for, I think it's underpriced in comparison to other companies, if you want to go that way. Now, fair enough, $10 or €10 for one person in one country can mean almost 5-10 times as much, if not even more, to someone else in another country. So, but that's just the world economy that we live in, and the company has to charge based on the country that they are in.
Well, I guess for me, if you really get into it, we're all lucky to be able to play this game and have an internet and have computers. I know that's like really, really, doing the, but that's honestly what I always think. It's like, well, at least I can play.
Yeah, and then at the end of the day, it always does boil down to issues are necessary. They're necessary for you to advance your character. They're necessary for new advances in the game, and they're necessary and because of the issues, your ability to change what you do in the game happens. So that's why I tend to think that they're a really good price. Whereas versus, buying the $20 upgrade to get the flashy bikes and stuff like this, it's not necessary. So it doesn't alter your gameplay. It just changes your gameplay experience by riding a Harley Davidson.
So, as do you think that this might be some sort of an indication that prices might go up if they charge $20? Do you think that prices in general, because this is a buy to play game, so do you think that as more things are introduced, do you think that the prices are gonna climb a little higher than they have been until now?
It's certainly possible. I don't imagine regular mission packs will change, but depending how well this one sells, and I am going to buy it. I'm not happy that it's costing twice as much as normal, but I'm still going to buy it. And I imagine quite a few people are going to be in that same boat. They're going to get this anyway. I imagine we will probably be seeing more of these luxury vanity items at this price in the future. And if we take a look at what's happening over at Age of Conan, and if we they recently had a similar thing where they've started, I believe they had a luxury mount as well, and it came with a mission. And they mentioned that they're moving towards, instead of just selling a regular vanity item, you get a mission attached to that. And that's on the surface is similar to what we're getting here in the Secret World, so it could be a company-wide, just a change in how they're marketing things. Now, on the forums, I have been accused of seeing patterns where none exist, but I am human. I play a game about conspiracy theories, so why don't other people see that?
Now, you brought up a good point. Thing is, remember, in the States, the team that they have there is the live team, which governs all live games except for Lego. I think Lego is over in
Norway, yeah.
Norway. So yeah, so the live team, any changes that happens in one game, we've seen it. They call it different, they name it different, but it seems that everything that happens in the Secret World happens in Conan, vice versa. And the other thing is, I do remember either a GM letter or a post. It could have been in an interview that did say, I do believe Joel said it, actually, it was Joel that said it, and that they said the pricing points may change later on in the future because of the whole side stories, not selling the mystery boxes and such. So we might actually end up seeing. They even said something that they might relook at our stipends for subscribers and grandmasters. These might change, so they might be restructuring on the financial side, and this could be like you said. This could be not the. I don't think you're paranoid. A little crazy, maybe no, but I do think you are right. I think this is maybe something that's going to be on the wings of change, so to speak.
I mean,
Well,
from
I
a
think
company perspective, they kind of just have to try it. I mean, if it doesn't work, like Xander says, they'll either drop the price or they'll do something else. But they've got to try it. They're not going to know if it works unless they try it.
Yeah,
Xan-
that's a go ahead, Griff.
I seem to be doing this a lot tonight. I'm sorry. Xander had a good point comparing it to the party bags
I always
too.
have a good point.
But oh, of course.
Hey, that's a different
It also
subject.
makes
Your
me
point.
think about, okay, so specifically with the party bags, I know seems like a lot of people who complain on the forums and whatnot, but obviously people still buy the bags. And I think sometimes we might forget that the people who go to the forums, the people who come to the shows, we don't represent the entire player base. Like, we are actually a
Exactly.
small section of the player base. And if the entire player base likes the party bags or likes the mounts, then that's what they've got to do.
Yep, and
There's the difference
the
between
dev team
commercial
will
and
have.
critical success.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry,
but the
Anita.
dev team will have the metrics on that, and they will, or if not them, the higher ups from them will have the metrics on that. It will have exactly the numbers of what sells best in the game, and they are a company that needs to make money. One thing that I can say is that I have full confidence in the development team and in the company so far, in saying that I don't think they're going to go out of their way to put in all kinds of stuff that people are requesting, or something that's going to break the lore of the game, so to speak, because they've proven so far to actually, like Yugi pointed out, even when they were talking about mounts, they said, well, you know what, so far no, but if we are going to do this, then we're going to do it our way. So I think we're going to see tomorrow, probably there's going to be certain requests, and if it's going to be a stream, the Orochi Tower, maybe again, sure, but pretty sure people are going to have a lot of questions about this. So it's going to be a very interesting stream to look forward to and to participate in and listen into. Like I said before, it is happening tomorrow on Funcom's Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Funcom official. It will start, I believe, at 2 p.m. EST. So if you are able to, do join them. I'll definitely be there if I can, and see what's happening, what's coming up, because Tilty is going to tease us with something. You know him.
It's maybe going to
So
say honourable.
he did say that when he does say it, that we are all going to be amazed.
He must
So
be practicing. I mean, just to add, on a really positive note, all of these things, though, the last few months, there's been nothing but movement and communication from Funcom,
exactly.
and
This is a new
Yep.
Funcom. This
yeah,
is a new dev
exactly.
team.
Absolutely.
They're moving in a completely different, I would almost go so far as to say the opposite way, when it comes to marketing and releasing new things. They're not keeping everything so tight to their chest, and they're creating a buzz, in not just in the community, but the community then creates a buzz everywhere else.
Well, actually,
So
they're
it's
creating a buzz in the industry as well. I mean, Funcom was one of the first companies I saw that started to be really transparent with people, and other companies have started to take that on now. I mean, Behavior Interactive, the guys that are making Eternal Crusade, they're being really, really open with the community to the point where when they're having interviews with other like magazines and websites and stuff, they can't give out any information that no one knows yet because everyone already knows everything. So I mean, Funcom have really started kind of quite an interesting little thing in the industry.
Well, I wouldn't
Well,
say
definitely the TSW team.
I wouldn't say it's a Funcom thing. What I would say it is I'm going to get smacked in the back of the head. So those of you who's watching live stream, watch the back of my head. What it started with, it didn't start with Funcom, and I apologize, to the team. It started with Chris Roberts Industries. It started with Star Citizen because Star Citizen was a community-backed project. They don't have a publisher, they don't have developers, stuff like that. It was all crowdfunded. And 2 Point, they have $84 million crowdfunded. Every week they have like 5 different shows every week. They have a big community roundup post every week. They're so transparent. I've heard
They have
one,
to be. People
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
just chew them up
I
and
was
Accountability.
going to
spit
say, I
them
mean,
out.
I would say they didn't really have much of a choice with that one. They had to be
Yeah,
transparent because it was
exactly.
crowdfunded.
And one of the
Something
big
like
Go ahead.
Sorry,
Funcom's completely
yeah,
different.
Funcom is completely different. It's a development company, and they've taken that decision to be transparent with people. Star Citizen and the new Ultima MMO, that's crowdfunded as well. So they have no choice but to be transparent because that's where the money came from.
Yeah. And because they're crowdfunded, they don't have, unlike Funcom, they don't have CEOs that tell them what to do. They are accountable to the community. So everything, and the only actual complaint I've ever heard from the community, which is really messed up. Hey, the only complaint, the only complaint from the community, at large, against Star Citizen and Chris Roberts is that there is so much transparency that sometimes it is hard to find the information. Not because they didn't say it, but there's so much information out there, it's really hard sometimes for people to find it. Now, you had mentioned, the only reason why I brought this up, you had mentioned behavior. Behavior itself, they are contracted by Chris Roberts Space Industries and Star Citizen to make their FPS module. So Chris Roberts was even there, and he played Eternal Crusade on one of the
Yeah,
live
that's right.
stream. So they've taken a note from them and been wide open. And the thing is, I think under Tilty, I thought it was bad under Joel. One of the things that I really loved about Joel, and I do miss him, one of the things I really loved about Joel, when he was in an interview, he was like, well, I could tell you this, but the uppers are going to be so pissed. Oh, fuck them. This is what happened. He made up his mind and he did it, right? He said, he gave spoilers. He made his own way. Tilty, now that Tilty is, in charge, Tilty looked at it as doing something that's completely different, and I totally impressed with him. And I love the fact that he does this. He sends out tweets. He does the live streams. He goes out. He does the regular interviews, but
he does go
doesn't
out of
need,
his way, yeah.
He doesn't need an interview to give spoilers. He does it himself.
No, definitely hats off to the entire team, not just to the development team, but to executive producers, I should say, because I don't know how many of them there are. We know of just of NoFX. So hats off to them and to the marketing team for coming up with all sorts of things, starting with this IMTSW contest that started off as Tomium's idea, and it turned into this great big contest for the entire community. So just moving off from the discussion, because we need to bring the show to a close, talk about IMTSW contest. the last round, round 8, has concluded. The IM round. It has concluded this past Sunday. And winners will be announced soon. We are also picking our winner, and they will be announced first and foremost on the official forum for the Secret World. And yeah, so we will announce those via our Twitter as well. What did you guys think about the IMTSW contest?
Really impressed with the ones that came in near the last second, because like I say, last week there was like 4 entries.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I was really impressed with the ones that came in later on. There were some really good ones.
Well, the thing is, they did
But
so
I
much
just meant
work.
the contest overall, not just the last round.
Oh, overall, sorry, I
yeah.
thought you meant that round. Yeah, no, it was really good. I'm really impressed by people's creativity.
I would have liked to have seen it maybe split up over a longer period of time. I think it's a lot to have happened, one thing after another, after another, after another. You know, when people may have commitments or other commitments, whereas another time would have been better. I don't know. I'm just talking from a personal point of view. So
Oh,
maybe
yeah, I
over
agree
the
with
year.
you there, Very.
Me too.
Yeah, having 2 week, there was a lot. There was, there was 8 rounds, and they were every week another one got announced. So it was about 10 weeks or something, however it went. And if you were busy or otherwise occupied in that 2 weeks for that round, you missed out. And there was still plenty of other rounds you could enter, but it would have been nice to have had it spread out a little bit. But then you risk losing momentum, whereas this rapid fire, it kept it going.
But
Yeah, I was
don't
just
you?
Should go both
thinking
ways.
Doesn't it
creating
go
like
in
Whispering
the?
Tide.
But also, doesn't it happen like that? People get just like overwhelmed and they kind of drop off if they, they entered 1 round or 2 rounds and then they just don't even bother
Well,
entering the other ones,
It
or
depends. I mean, bear in mind, it's hitting that balance between bringing them out at a regular interval and, as I said, just creating another Whispering Tide where that was designed to be a slow burning thing. But in the end, people just forgot
he
about
wasn't
it because
designed
it
to
just
be
went on for too long.
that slow burning.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
That's what I mean. It went on too long, and people just ended up.
But I
Um,
think thing
sorry,
is
go on.
with the competition was though it was a different competition every time, so it's not that it was the same thing all the time. It was a different thing. It's a bit. I know what you're saying about the Whispering Tide. Flappy just. I know people that were setting their alarms to get up every 3 hours to go kill Flappy.
Yes, they did.
That's
I know
just
that for a fact.
Gotta get
yeah,
those astrals.
Yeah, I did that.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's like getting wow. Is the tail wagging the dog? But I think for me, I think I'm getting this kind of vibe that maybe if it had been spread over, I'm not saying make it last forever, but maybe over a longer period of time.
A shorter duration or
Yeah.
shorter duration event. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spread out over several times a year.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the concept was fabulous. I mean, hats off again. I think TSW over the last 3 or 4 months have just I mean, the marketing.
It's come to life. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, really, hats off. They're doing everything that they can, but
you know what? It also, I think it was the right kind of event, considering they have not had something like this happen ever.
absolutely
So
wonderful.
this, I think, has generated a much greater buzz than just a regular, 2-week content, 2-week event would have been. I think this brought in a lot more players with different skills, and people, because of the nature of the entries for each round, a lot of people did not feel left out because there was an entry, there was a contest for submitting a screenshot and talking about it. So that was like the most simplest form. Anyone could take a screenshot who's in game and send it in on the forums. So it was very, very simplistic in that way. And I think, all things considered, for future events, there's definitely going to be some lessons learned to the development team and Funcom in general. But I think it was the right kind of event to jumpstart with the advance of EPE and new players, and then continuing on that buzz, we had the IMTSW contest, and now we have this the streaming once bi-weekly, or should I say bi-monthly? I guess either way. No, bi-weekly stream.
Bi-weekly.
Yeah, bi-monthly, something different. So, with the new content being generated and us being teased about it, engaging us that way, not just on the forums, but on social media as well. I think it just opens up the floodgates, and I think they're reaping the benefits of it. So it will be interesting to see how they proceed, because the third year anniversary of the game's release is coming up at the beginning of July. So it's going to be interesting to see if they plan something special for that, or will they just continue on with the normal thing, here's an event for a week or a couple of weeks, or will they actually bring on something that we have not seen so far?
And on the contest, I didn't enter as many of the rounds as I had planned on, but I entered quite a few, and I do kind of see how it could be nice spread out. I also tend to agree. There's been some people in the forum suggesting that there should have been a separate round for 2D versus 3D art, and that it also might have been nice to have a writing round that wasn't backstory, because we have quite a few people who act, and not just us and not just me, but we have quite a few people in the community who do blog. And they would have loved to submit something like that, but then they couldn't because that wasn't a backstory.
Staff writer.
Guerrero says that he liked the screenshot round. There were lots of entries, but it felt like it gave people more of a chance to show off what they really loved in the game, especially people with a lower level of English who couldn't really do the writing or audio rounds. Completely agree with that. And people are requesting Flappy to come back. It's like, seriously, we had enough of Flappy during the Whispering Tide? No.
Actually, talking about Guerrero, he was one of the few that put in an entry for the final I Am round, so congratulations, awesome.
Can I just give you a quick fun fact about Flappy as well? Flappy PvP stopped every 3 hours. Seriously? It stopped every 3 hours while the Flappy raid was on.
I know that we had to stop doing dungeons, or people were like, okay, enough tries on the MT. We have Flappy that's happening in 5 minutes.
Seriously,
okay, everybody, Polaris is done. All right, let's go do the Flappy raid, and then we're back in Darkness War.
Absolutely. I mean, people who lived through that whole Flappy experience, it was like your timetable was scheduled around Flappy. Really, and like I say, PvP, you just didn't go into Flappy. You didn't just go into PvP if the Flappy raid was due in 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, there's lots more that we could talk about, but let's just quickly touch up on other news that have been coming out of the game or on the forums. We have the architects coming up. Questions this time around will be aimed at Nofex, who is the executive producer of The Secret World. Unfortunately, those have closed today. At around 5 p.m. EST. Answers will probably be, well, not even answers, but the questions will be selected in the next week, I think. And then people will be able to vote on the top 5 questions that Nofex will then answer. And there's been a lot of questions. How many? I think I've seen it up to like 5 pages. Is it still on 5 pages, or maybe it's even more than that? But in any case, there is a lot of interesting questions. So it'll be very interesting to see which questions do get picked for the top 5. I hope it's not, like funky questions that, because there's a lot of the good ones in there. Now, we have also had a little something special when it comes to mounts in TSW and their introduction into the game. Sesmra has posted something. Who wants to tell us about that? Oh, come on, somebody.
Well, who has a really cool Cabal logo?
We do.
Beyond the Veil, yeah.
Ours is better.
Would you like to see that on the back of a riding jacket?
I've already done that
Already
t-shirt, why
I've
not?
already done that. Gig.
Well, if that's what you want, Sesmra's got a tweet that if you retweet it, someone might win.
Yep,
Yeah, what is that
so-
logo
and-
you've got on your shirt there, Xander?
So basically, go ahead, Griff.
Oh, I was only going to add that we have until June 3rd.
Yeah. So this is what you have to do, okay? And this works on Twitter only. So our apologies if you don't have a Twitter account. If you don't, maybe you could just make one up just for this time around. Sesmra, who is on Twitter, SEZ or Z, MRA. So at Sesmra on Twitter, she has posted a tweet that you then have to retweet unedited. So just hit retweet, and all those people who actually retweet that particular status that has been retweeted 234 times up until now, this very moment. So all those 243 people will be in for a chance to have the biker jackets with their Cabal logo in the game. And people who are in their Cabal at that particular moment in time will also get them, as far as I understood from Sesmra's post on the forum. You can only tweet it out, or rather retweet it, once per your Twitter account, okay? If you retweet it more than once, you'll automatically be disqualified. Those are the rules. Cabal prize will only be awarded once. So if you, if you're not a member of a Cabal, maybe now is a good time to become a Cabal member somewhere. This is an account-bound item that is not going to be tradable. So in all likelihood, Sesmra or someone from the community management team will be basically crediting that particular item to the accounts of people in the Cabal. So make sure that you, if you want to participate in this, if you want to be in with a chance to have your name on the biker jacket with your Cabal logo in game, you have to make sure that you retweet her tweet, Sesmra's tweet at Sesmra. So go there, you'll see it's a simple tweet that says ready for hashtag mounts in TSW. RT this to win a jacket for your Cabal with a link. So do check that link and then do retweet that particular tweet. You only have until, like Griff said, until the 3rd of June. So after that, it's like, well, sorry, deadline's gone.
When we designed the Knights of Exemplar logo for the IMTSW, we didn't have a logo beforehand. We actually drew inspiration from old motorcycle logos, so it actually has wings and things and a shield on it.
Cool.
Nice.
And there have been some strange things happening in the Durham studio. Xander, if you can open show notes and go to page, I do believe is page 6 or 7, 8 maybe. That's how many pages we have for show notes. I know. It's only because of the IMTSW contest that takes up a lot. So anyway, apparently boxes of cookies were delivered to the development team, and in the forum thread where they actually posted about getting these sweet things, I couldn't help but laugh at Alisar's comment. Oh, you accepted the gift. At least there weren't disembodied voices urging you to do so. I thought that was really, really funny. And then another commented, and depending on which treat you chose to eat, that determined the color of your angel wings and the damage healing effect. Choose wisely, grasshopper. I love those comments. It's like people like, yeah, we're gonna throw the lore right back at you.
The black wings are the best wings.
They're not black, they're blue.
Mine are blue.
Da-dee-da-dee-die.
No, there's gold, there's blue, and then there's black with purple highlights, like electricity.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's it. Anything else that we forgot to mention? No. Right? No.
Can't think of anything.
Oh.
We died again in the forum game.
Oh. We did forget to mention something. Scrivener Menser did a really good interview with Ace of Geeks. And if you wish to check it out, I'm posting the link in Twitch chat, and it will also be a part of the we've already tweeted it out on Beyond TSW's Twitter, and it will be part of the show notes once the remastered episode gets released. It is full of lore questions. It is absolutely great. Do check it out. One spoiler that he did kind of let on is that there is one particular Kingsmith character that is going to be coming back very, very, very soon. So, soon, TM.
And when he was talking about the voice actor, he called the voice actor a he.
Exactly.
So,
So
just
it's
narrow
male.
it down a little more.
Yeah, I forgot to
Who
mention
do we
that. Yeah.
think?
Oh, it's gonna be the vice principal. What's his
It's
name?
Kingsmith. No, that's Hayden Montag. That's,
Oh, so that's
in Savage Coast.
Savage Coast.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Andy.
I mean, even before hearing
Could
it
be
was a
Andy.
man, my money would be on Shay.
Ooh, good
Could be.
point.
Oh,
Could
good
be.
point.
It could have been that cowboy that you first meet.
Oh,
That'd be
Jack Wolf. Is it Jack Wolf?
No,
No.
that's
no.
Savage Coast again.
Yeah, again.
Boone?
No, it's
Is it Boone?
the first guy you see when you first enter Kingsmouth.
It is Boone, yeah.
Yeah, isn't
But
that
he's
Boone, or
also
am I thinking
called
of Fallout New
Jack,
Vegas?
No, wait. It's gonna be the Looney fanboy at the church. He finally got into the Illuminati. He's gonna
Oh,
cameo.
Hawthorne!
I don't know. It could be. Yeah, who else would be there? Then you have the NPCs on the bridge.
Dubai.
In front
And
of
Radcliffe.
Polaris, yeah.
What about
Mm-mm.
the kid in the skate park? Can't remember his bloody name now.
Danny.
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 Danny
Yeah,
Dufresne.
nah.
That's the one. Could be Danny. There's a lot of
Yeah, I
Danny
think
love on
Shay
forums.
is quite a good bet. Yeah. Well, remains to be seen. But anyway, anyhow, guys and gals of the secret world, like we said several times during the broadcast tonight, I'm going to repeat it again. The streaming ones will be streaming again tomorrow at 2 p.m. EST on twitch.tv/Funcom official. Make sure you tune in. There's definitely going to be tons of questions about the sprint upgrades, about the achievement vendor, and the penthouse mini dungeon that Tilty had announced a couple of days ago on, or elaborated upon on the forums a couple of days ago. So do make sure that you catch that stream. If you cannot make the live stream, there is, I think there's going to be a recorded past broadcast on their account. So do check it out there, or just, go to the forums. You'll find all the info there. People are going to start discussing it there and getting feedback from different players and getting their thoughts and opinions and stuff, or just expressing their own. So it's sure proving without even starting just yet, it's going to be a very interesting one. Looking forward to it. All right, and that actually brings us to the end of tonight's show. Oh my gosh, we went for a lot longer than I thought we would. But then we always do. And then there's like, yep. All right. So until next Thursday at 7 p.m. EST, right here on twitch.tv/Whole Suite Media, we bid you adieu, or good day, good night, wherever you are in the world. Enjoy the game.
Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not going to sing it again.
so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.
I gotta pee.
Adieu.
Oh,
To you,
very
and you,
nice.
All right. All right, Xander, sign us off. Goodbye, everyone. See you next week.
Bye.
Cheerio.
By the way, this is the milkshake song. People have been asking us what it is.
It's all to you.
Woo! Our dog's gonna start
In
howling.
the darkest days, Xander lost his voice. In the darkest days, he drinks a milkshake. Dun 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 dun.